Daytime, Brian. All right. See, I got 59 o'clock. That's just all meeting order. We're live, people. Where? You have the minutes from September 15th. You received them in the email, review. There's no additions, deletions, or corrections. I entertain a motion to approve. I'll make a motion. Brian? Why? Second. Ed? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Director's report, action.
Take a look at it. Kate, can you want to walk us through the treasurer's report? You're way more familiar. I'm just going to be asking you questions anyway.
Sure. Sorry for my video quality, everyone.
We didn't see you anyway, so your video is fine.
Okay. 1 second. Sorry, my okay, so the current treasurer's report, I think everyone's looking at, is it operations on the top?
Yes, 0379.
Yep. So this amount, okay, so we have $195,000 that we won for that award. We have yet to request anything from it, but we have been spending. One update there is at the end of last week, we finally got the grant award agreement signed by HCR. So I'll be able to prep a reimbursement request this week for the funds, both the funds that we've already spent, which is you can see there's 33,000, just over $33,000. And then this grant allows us to request estimated expenses to get ahead of the game in terms of cash flow. So we'll be able to estimate Glenn's accounting expenses, a couple of months of the fourth sector services, and then our normal like click time and the Snow Hill invoices for our property maintenance. So that's where we're at there. Still 161,000 left on that grant to spend. And then moving on to LBI phase 2, 0024. The total we have left that we can request from the state is just around $238,000. There is the one thing I noticed and why earlier I said, is you'll see we tried to have Glenn fix what was confusing everyone at the very bottom where it has balance remaining to spend versus balance requested. There's still supposed to be a number there, and we were going to start calling it balance in the bank and borrowed from general fund. But the amounts went away in this version. I didn't catch it before we printed it. So what we do know is that we still have to put in a phase 2 reimbursement request. There's just about, if I do that math, it's just about $9,000 that we have borrowed from the general fund before getting the reimbursement for this phase 2. That is another, once we get the demolition money, the demos for the Whitesville and Bolivar properties are going to come out of here. So we'll be able to do a larger lump sum request once we know what those amounts are. And I'm going to move on to the LBI 2.2 capital. This is our just over $1 million in money for capital expenses only. So this is where we have to make sure that the properties that we're reimbursing money for here will be developed. We can't just do a straight demolition anymore. The amount for LBI 2.2, we just put in a reimbursement request with the state. So you'll see in that total funds column in the second column, about 2 down, there's a line called pending disbursement requests. The amount that we put in for was $69,283.25. So that's pending with HCR, and we expect that that will be paid by the end of the month. Once that money comes in, a lot of it is going to go to reimburse the general fund. Again, it's the cash flow of the general fund has to cover expenses until we can get a reimbursement or a disbursement request approved by the state. So once and in addition to this, so we put in that request, but we also still do have money in the bank for capital funding. We asked that Clinton Brown, for the latest contracts that we signed with him, that we got an invoice for the whole amount that we could submit to HCR. And then we'll keep paying invoices and approving them as we normally do as those come in. But we actually have the full amount of those contracts. They will be in the bank. And then for the Peter Morse contract, when he did the architecture services, if you recall, he had put money in for an engineer for $10,000 for each property, and we didn't actually end up needing the structural engineer, and we didn't pay that out. So we had $20,000 extra in the bank account as well for LBI funds related to that we're going to work out with the state around how we spend that down now. But that's why at the very bottom of this page, it shows there's a balance in the bank. Normally there would also be a number, so I'll make sure for next month that there is a number there. And then moving on to general fund. So this general fund bank balance that's on here at the very bottom is what is currently in our calculations of what is in the general. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to start at the top. So we have 127,000 available for the general fund. Below is what we've been spending to date. That is the money that we've set aside. So when Jason has applied for grants, we've said we're going to spend 50,000 of our own match. We've actually done most of that for the 2.2 grant already, between acquisition costs that we've had. So we're only required for that match to spend about $4,600 more. And then the remaining balance there is what is in the bank balance, but it doesn't match FCCB yet. I had sent an email to Darwin about this. Just for cash flow purposes, we've known that there's an amount that needs to be transferred over so that the FCC balance matches what's on this treasurer's report. But because we've been writing so many checks, I had asked that we just hold off until we get that next round of disbursements from HCR. But we're tracking what the amount is. There's about $90,000 that will need to go back into the general fund FCCB account. And then once we do that, this treasurer's report will start actually matching the exact balance of the bank account every month. Right now, we're just doing the accounting through these worksheets, and the bank account we're just, for cash flow purposes, it's just been easier to pay everything out of the LBI account. But we're trying to, now that we have that operations funding money that's going to come in, we'll be able to get a big chunk of money and hopefully not have to do as much transferring back and forth. We'll be able to get ahead of it with LBI funds and not have to do as much of that. But I think later in the meeting, we're going to talk about how we do that transfer process, because it's a new thing now that we have 2 checking accounts.
Thank you. We'll deliver it now.
That was very muffled. I'm sorry.
Or over, what would that? Or, general fund. Look at.
I'm not hearing the audio.
What will the balance be once we get the disbursement? What should the balance be once we're all paid up? Approximately in the general fund, what are we approximately sitting on in the general fund that is, in there once we balance it all out?
Yeah, it should be, because right now there's about 60,000 in the general fund in the actual account, and then we're awaiting 90,000. So it'll be, this number here, the 132, should be, right about correct. It's somewhere between this 130 and 150. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. I like the format much better. Thank everybody agree with that. Can I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Bob, second.
Bob, second by, she can't hear songs.
Maybe we could push that little thing closer to Brian.
Second. Dave,
Dave seconds.
any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Administrative invoices.
I'll skip the organizational budget after this in here just because.
No.
In financial, before the treasury report, see, there's a, here you can get in this version. I don't see it here either. Oh, well, sorry.
I got administrative invoices. I put this in the right place. You're confusing us.
Yeah, sorry, I haven't, I must have sent out the wrong iteration of this, but the organizational budget.
Oh, it's underneath treasury report.
It's
Under.
Oh, it's just,
it's out of order.
Okay.
Back there, so
I don't see them, I didn't see them in the agenda.
it was.
For on top there, sorry. It's in there.
It's right
Oh,
behind.
yeah, I just put it.
He just,
So this is the budget that we have to do every year to get approved by the Authority Budget Office in Paris, do Halloween. So, we get it approved here, we'll then it'll go to the accountant will take these numbers, put it into their format, plug it into Paris. This is just our proposed of what we'll receive in grants and what we will spend out. This takes into account the grant that we will be going after. As well.
Which is $2 million
Yep.
plus another 195.
Right.
Okay, all right, our match. Come a long way. From being able to pay your bill up.
talking to him about that the other day. Wasn't that long ago, we were begging for
Yeah,
50,000 or something.
all right, let's just make sure we don't screw up and get that way. Yeah, that's right. So, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the 2023 organizational budget. So, second.
Darwin.
Dar, any discussion on that? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Now on to our administrative invoices. We have, Board Sector Service and Glenn Smith.
Yeah, so mine is my regular thing plus reimbursement from the tax sale properties. I put on my corporate card and the man lift, we got to use the man lift to get up, the architects, engineers, team up on the roof of that new building that we bought next to the 46 Main Street, so 46 and 8. That's what that's actually for. That was the last minute thing, the engineer itself kind of had something up the last minute, we didn't want to keep moving with the drawings and specs on that building, so. Got that.
Make a motion to pay the administrative invoices.
Second. Is that fine? Good.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. We have some capital invoices. Clinton Brown for Grover Street, Wellsville, 300. Clinton Brown, Phelps Hall, which is 24 Main Street Friendship. Clinton Brown for the historic work, I assume, the administrative work.
Correct.
And Pelican excavating ground.
That is, so the Pelican is the, bid for the roofs that they're doing for Andover Historic. This is the second progress payment on Hill Street, so this will be our fourth progress payment we take to them, this will be our last one, and then the remainder of the work, the remainder of the payments will be paid at the completion of work by Andover Historic. This is our last payment for them, and John is doing, he will still do the final report and work with Monica, say, Monica, we think that you might want to get X, Y, and Z done before you pay him his last payment, so we're still looking out for the, John went out there last week with a drone and found some nails that were raised up, some minor issues that he's gonna work out with Monica, but this will be our last payment, and then we'll just be helping Monica get over the finish line of the completion of that.
All right, motion to pay the capital invoices. Brian with a Y. Brian with a Y. Second. Dave. Dave. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Fund days.
Okay, this isn't in your package, I'm gonna get this stuff, so. The grant that's up right now. This is the budget for that. I didn't print out quick the narrative, this is how I started working on it, and there a lot of reading for nothing, this is really the nuts and bolts of the grant.
The board there.
Yeah, and it's up there, so it's all right. There two. There two.
Yep.
So this is a breakdown of the grant that will be asking for the 2 million. It's standalone pre-development. The acquisition is so the 50,000 for acquisition, which is in the second row of the first column, is for we've never asked for acquisition. Well,
Go to the share, the green share. button.
All right.
Kind of, yeah, you select the page. There you go. Okay,
So we've never asked for acquisition, we've always bought it out of our own fund, and it's usually like an honorable thing, 2,000, 3,000, whatever we buy for. With, if we're gonna go after the hardware building, we needed a bigger chunk of money. So that's what this 50,000 would be for acquisition of that property. And then, 1.3 million in various rehabs, and then 150,000 you see to the bottom is a small rental repairs. It's a side project that they have in, so the grant pathway, this new grant that we're going after, it has the stuff, the items that are at the top, standalone redevelopment, acquisition, demolition, and unrestricted building rehab. The demolition was an essential demo. We still have a little bit of demo money from phase 2, so I put nothing in there. And then the other pathway they had in their grant was for owner occupied rehab, rental repairs, and other construction activities that they would approve if it was something outside of what they had in the application. And then if you look at, so how we're gonna spend that is on the next page, it would be easier to discuss like this, so if you look at the last two columns all the way to the right, where it says, unrestricted development, LBI 3, and property services. That's, if you go to, you can go down the bottom, you see 1.85 million, and then 100,000, that adds up to the 2 million that we're requesting. If you go to the column, LBI 3, unrestricted development, that would be 300 for 15 Second Street, 200,000 for Grover Street, which are rehabs that we have going. 50,000 for the pre-development of, the Whiteville properties. That would be architectural drawings, better, more grading and planning for that. 800,000 to 46 Main Street, that will be, a major part of the construction of the grant will be that building, because it has the multiple rental units, commercial units. So if you went by unit, that's less than, it's gonna be less than 100,000 per unit. If you look at it that way, which, it's easier to fathom than saying putting 800,000 into one building. If we go by unit, that's less than 100,000 per unit. The antique barn, I threw 10,000 in there, but that's more for the site work to help with that road back there, clearing, stuff like that. We're probably not gonna do too much to the barn itself, besides, secure it or something after, but so that 10,000 is more for site work that will incorporate that lot into our other lots.
Can I stop you there for a minute?
Yes, sir.
So I'm a little confused with us developing like Grover and Friendship. I thought that we were going to stabilize and then the developer would then be able to get the tax credits. We won't be able to receive those tax
Be able to
credits.
sell those tax credits with the property.
You can.
Yeah. So we'll pass along.
All right.
We're putting any money to put in, we're not, we won't get to finishing that property needs so much. This is getting us, we'll be putting that money in that makes it feasible. And then, so say we put this 800,000 in, we see what we've also spent pre-development money and we'll be putting a little bit of stabilization money just so we're gonna be almost at $1 million, so.
Okay, I
after that,
I do recall that is transferable.
Yeah, it'll pass in there.
Go ahead.
And then the next acquisition, says acquisition, but, those are properties that we're still working on getting right now, either have not got them or we're about to be under contract. The diner, that 50,000 would be for, the street facade, fixing it up, fixing up any, doing a study of what it needs, obviously, coming up with a scope. So that's project planning for redevelopment. 800 Main Street and 10 Main Street, those are the new one we built in the hardware store. That'll be, again, feasibility study, getting engineers, making sure that we can come up with a good plan. And that's all pre-development work. 4 Depot and 12 Depot. Those, if you see those have, if you go all the way to column all the way on the left, it says phase 2, 60,000 and 15,000 respectively. That would be the site clearing. And then the 20,000 in unrestricted development would be to go to help pave that lot and make it sellable to hopefully the people who have the bank on the corner, because that would be a good lot for the bank and it would be a good lot for our apartments across the street.
So 12 is the little house.
Well, the little house,
We're
and
just demoing that.
yeah, it's pretty bad. It's all wonky.
And for 4, are we getting funds through, IDA? Through the brownfield?
No. Not this time, man.
I thought that was the plan for that building.
They can do a phase 1 on it, they can do the phase 1 environmentals, but they were not, we're too far away from the cleanup actually.
It's also not part of that grant. The grant is for the environmental impact statements
Oh.
and the developing a redevelopment plan.
Plan, not actually.
Actual, okay, fixing.
It could lead to that, but then it would be pumping this thing way out.
Yeah.
We got money to give money to you.
Yeah, that's fine.
4 Depot is the burn mill.
Correct. And then the 100,000 for 11 Main Street and 62 Seneca is money that we will pass through. The 100,000 we Habitat for Humanity to build at 111 Main Street.
What's 111 Main Street?
That's the Vermont Boulevard. Just bought on the tax code.
Okay.
And then 63 Seneca is that condemned building in Seneca Street, and, that we are working with People Inc., we'll talk about later in the agenda. People Inc. wants to build there, they're legally working on a co-development agreement where we would demo it, help them out, build it, help build that and sell that to them to make it affordable, that we can get accessible, so we.
So what are we spending $100,000 on those properties after demolition?
Pre-development, basements, architecture drawings, all the stuff to get us up to take money off the bill for those builders, so then they can make it feasible and sell it for, without having to sell it for break even. People ain't trying to break even on this thing, they're not trying to make any money off it. They just want to sell it for what they produce.
Is there interested party on 111 Main Street, Ballard? For a buyer?
Just having that.
Habitat, okay. So they're both, like a nonprofit, we're working and partnering.
Yeah.
Not independent.
Correct, and once we get a contractor, then we consider that spend. So this 1.85 million is 150,000. Oh, wait, I didn't finish it. So those last, the farthest column, the LBI property service, these would be where the bank in Bolivar and their street in Houghton. This would be money to help them get those properties online so the goal in there is to create rental units that are currently offline. Those properties haven't been rented in years and years. This would help subsidize them to get those back online. That's the intent for that one.
For which?
For the property services money for the bank apartments and their street and home. They just go on. But we would hold on to that until the end of the production. This would be their finishing money. We're not gonna give it to them at the beginning to start. In hopes that they finish, this would be, if you can get this to up to $50,000 away from the finish line, we'll finish it, or we get, and for 100,000 for the Fair Street.
Not probably out of stage, but 63 Seneca Street that we bought. People Inc. wants to do what with it?
They wanna build an ADA accessible ranch style home on a slab.
For a single family?
Yeah.
Okay.
So once, 111 Main Street and 63 Seneca, once that's paperwork's done, they go to a partnership project column.
Correct.
Cause I wasn't sure if the zoning at 63 would allow them,
It's our, so they can do,
it's our two,
they can
so
do,
they can do 2 apartments if they want.
if they want to, they wanna do a single family home, ADA accessible. That's what their goal is right there.
Can you remind me why they want to do this?
There's further goals, they have a lot of customers in the Wellsville area, and they don't really have housing opportunities for their customers, so they wanna, they see the need for ADA accessible housing, and if they can do them one at a time, it shows that they're doing their mission. And you'll see the partner properties,
So
Hill Street, and Rochambeau will come off there.
is 63 Seneca a manufactured house?
No, it's
Got to go stick?
It could be anything that we're working on what we'll put there, but it could be a manufactured house. Right now, currently it's a stick frame fallen in condemned building.
Right.
Yeah, and we haven't decided what we'll put there. We're gonna work with People Inc. Most likely something, probably manufactured style, like what we were looking at for the next program, up in the move in New York, something like that. But we're gonna let them work with us on how they want it. Because it's for their customer, they know who they're gonna help themselves to do because they work with, disabled. I see that as a good spot for one of those. It's tough back in, it's in a small neighborhood, something that matches the neighborhood is really. But to get this money, to apply for this money, we have to be spent out, at least on paper, of 75% of our current budget. And, we won't get there without putting that money into the 26 main and pulling the trigger on the bids that came last month to build a new house, which the low bid was 624 or whatever, we ended up being about 275 a square foot.
In the future, it might help the board to have the village or town with either end.
Oh, yeah.
26 Main Street.
They are in Allen, we cut it off, and I didn't.
And now,
Oh, that's the new bill.
That's the new build. Yeah, they were in there, they cut off on me, I didn't notice it, so it was more, but yeah, they, in the spreadsheet, there's like that in there. I just didn't print that on.
so you're saying if we fail to approve that 26 Main Street, then we're in jeopardy of going after this additional fund.
Correct. Once we get into another contract, very soon, they're spend that much, so
Do you need an action on this item?
so on this, yeah, so this, the reason I pressed this out was for you guys to okay me to write and submit the grant based on these numbers and these outcome deliverables of.
Question. You have 38 East Main Street, Church Lane, there's no figures supposed to get, but
Yeah, that's just, that's a property that we usually move down to. Actually brought to us from Cuba, that's a Cuba partnership, yeah, we aren't trying to spend any money out of this grant, on that, it's just, you know, really. I'm over it. We haven't moved forward on it.
There's a number at the bottom, but there's no number all the way through, it's 8,094.70.
Yeah, that's program delivery associated with that, so, we haven't spent any of that program delivery, but intended that would roll over into capital money for phase two if we don't use it, but it's there in case we need a consultant or something like that, that's soft cost consulting type of money.
And that, he does. Base or home, just kind of there,
Which the first column thing?
yeah.
Well, it goes along with this phase two column, so once phase two, if you cut off the top two, it said, one of them said, program delivery phase two, the other one said, redevelopment phase two. Yeah, the ones,
Just, yeah, it didn't belong there. How confident are you receiving these funds?
I think that we were good, that we'll get a fund,
If we spend out,
yeah, if we're not, it depends on who else is getting them, and I know there's not many land banks who've gotten them in yet, but some have. If the land bank pot of money in the state is considerably more than they're releasing in grants, so I think we're sitting on like 40 million in this grant going around, 10 million. Anyway, so I think that if they see a need, they're just gonna open up a next round, they'll open up a round immediately after. So there is more money that they're just holding on to because it comes out of different
The
pots.
state doesn't want to spend their money.
And they have
The
different
community went to the land bank itself, said that there were, there's still 60 million that hadn't been done from.
right, but some of that, some of that, administrative only, some of that's capital project.
Right. There's lots of money there that most people don't even go after. So ideally, there should be plenty.
what's the timeline?
When's this due?
November.
So somewhere today, we're gonna vote to spend that money.
Or the next one, next meeting, whichever, one of the two.
Yeah, like, yeah, please, like, if we're gonna approve to write that, please tell them, okay, to write it, or, and then we don't figure out something as we go.
I think we can clarify too, Jason, this can be adjusted. We just have to have an idea of where it's going, right?
Yeah, these numbers, when you wanna go for the max of 2 million, and if need be, they get adjusted.
We have to have someone allocated.
All right, for sake of moving along, I would ask for a motion to approve the land bank initiative budget. Then Jason has submitted for 200.
Authorizing to
Submit
set
the,
up the grant application.
yeah,
For the grant, the LBI Property Services 2025 grant would be the best way to write that in minutes.
I didn't write that down, I don't know what you said.
LBI
LBI Property Services 2025. Grant for $2 million.
I thought it was for next year.
2020, yeah, 20, but the application was in 2025.
Yeah. It's LPI free. That's all I'm writing down.
No one's calling it that.
The rest of that is just free.
any motion, Dar?
Yeah.
Okay, All in favor? Aye, opposed? All right, that's, exciting.
Oh, it's fucking more exciting.
Yeah.
Across the state released cross my grant that I've been talking about for over a year. Remember it started out as a pilot program for land banks only, 3 land banks. Got awarded funds to put in 3 cross mod properties, which are a manufactured home coming in 2 pieces, and then he comes down, puts them on a slab, ties them together, finishes them out. The subsidy on that was like 250,000 per unit. So the land bank did that pilot, spent another 50K of their own, so they put in the properties for about 300,000, sold them for what affordability would cover, which would be about 150 to 175K, and that money, then they sell it, goes back to, as an unrestricted fund to the land bank. So they're putting in about 50 of their own money and getting back about 150 in sales, so they're putting about 150 into their unrestricted funds. This, we thought that, we knew this grant was coming out. The conversation behind this grant was a minimum of 5 units. When it released last month, they upped it to 10, a minimum of 10 units.
In the same area.
And that would be in the same area. Well, but they said for land bank, the land bank, they could do it countywide. For municipality, Wellville went after this, and had to do all of them, not only Wellville, they had to do it's walkable in like the same neighborhood as East Wellville, or New School, or land banks have a little bit of leeway where we can put them anywhere in the county, as long as we can justify that and the sites are ready. So we were approached by Holden University. They want to parcel off a portion of their land that they have. It butts up against the residential neighborhood Centerville Road. And
Stuff behind the.
No, it's right above the trailer. There's a.
let me show you. So we met with them. They want to put in a development there. They want to help us to help them out by going after this grant. It has the immediate actions that we need to do this would be A, they have to transfer the property to us. B, that has to be subdivided, has to become, we're now zone E for educational, that have to get zoned into R1 or R2. And the municipality and the school are highly invested into this. They really want to move this thing along. And so John will show you where we're talking here, and John drew up so we did a presentation for them to talk about what this grant is and what it can do. And if you had anything, and then so there was a question and answer for the state. So we took a bunch of questions from our meeting with Hogan and went to their. If you want to chime in and let me know what all the things I'm missing about this grant.
I thought you did a good job.
No, thank you. I'm just efficient from here. We'll go on with that. I know there were some other issues I can't place in my head that there was with the school. Okay, so this is where that line comes in, it goes down, it's about where
That was the original plan approximate, but what we're actually going with. Most of this area here.
so that's a hole right there, okay?
And the square box is the current
You
resident.
don't want to crunch it against them, so there'd be an access road going in, access going out, up to 10. And if we could do less than 10, put some other ones around on our other lots if we wanted to get started. But the big thing they're gonna want is, water, sewer, electric lines, and all that goes up Centerville Road. So it's not,
Water and sewer goes up there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
water, sewer, electric, and probably natural gas.
And drainage. This is.
Natural gas,
Yeah.
2 months.
So,
Any restrictions on additional hookups to those?
no, we spoke with. This time when Hogan was there, the retirement there, you had no issues with it. You're only talking 10 homes, it's easily accessible, easy tie-in because of the easy.
That's off the grid, bringing our blue off of the initial service is not like, not that end.
Yeah.
Get out, come back,
Yeah,
whereas if we did a cul-de-sac, we would be putting out a dead in here, so we would the right style instead of cul-de-sac, we were
we offered them several different options with this idea, and the smaller version rather than the whole area.
I would just suggest if, I like that layout because there's actually room behind it. If they wanted to add more,
Yeah.
you could run that first street in.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep that in mind when you do your final layout, that
Yeah, this is just a view for them. This is what they asked for. After several different options, I had a bigger group housing.
So are they talking about transferring that whole?
So
Just the area around them?
they initially they own the whole property. I'm assuming they're gonna use this whole area.
acres that way.
Yeah.
So they want to parcel off, so they have a trail system that comes in here that people hiking trails and stuff. So we don't want to infringe on that, it kind of comes up like this. So we're gonna try to keep this tight.
so there is no additional room behind.
There is, but they don't like it up.
And we don't want, and if the trails come this way, then we'll come to this way. If the trail goes all the way out here, we'll stay, we don't have a map of the trails.
Okay.
But really, we just don't wanna, get on the trail, like, but also that neighborhood could tie into those trails, so.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have, wouldn't have to go out the road, I think,
Yeah.
wanting to access back, like that.
There was also possibly a trail, one of the trails here touching or adjoining, and then having maybe a part off the trail usually behind it as well.
And this is, restricted to low and moderate income.
Actually, it's 70% to 130% AMI, if I'm right, so. It's,
Break spread.
Average too. So you can have over or slightly under as long as it's average.
yeah, so yeah, we have.
What's the elevation like here?
It's a very great, easy gradual slope. So the sloping, the drainage, it actually runs from the left to the right, very, I think it's only 60 feet total from the one side to the other is trying.
On the top of when you put those houses down like the higher spot, there's some lower spots that would be natural, runoff in watershed and stuff, but there's no like, hills and stuff like that, it's all easy grading. Then another challenge would be, is the DSDC gonna let us chop down, what trees are they gonna go in there and try, put in there, there's a acre of American chestnut, we're not doing it, there's no way they're gonna do that, so we don't know, we gotta do that kind of survey to see what, there's a lot of scrubby pines in there, I call it, I didn't really take a huge look at it.
It'd be nice if it was all ash.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah. All right, so what's our next line move with this?
I think that, I don't know what we didn't really talk about, I tried bringing up the topic of, financial compensation, like purchase prices. They don't know, they said, well, what if we could just give it to the, like, obviously that'd be the best, but that was just talking, but I don't think they, because then someone else will think, well, well, are you guys prepared to buy it from us? So, we don't know how that's gonna,
Your answer on applying right there.
but we'd like to be able to apply and, but applying, like, trying to think about, can we offer them something per acre if they need to be, if we need to, if they're, I don't know. But they just couldn't answer that without talking internally.
so if we're going to college, being the ones that own it, not the ones collecting taxes on it, they wanted to understand what could be their compensation.
Yeah.
Rather than just.
Yeah, they have someone coming to look at the trees to see if they could, clear cut the trees and get money from the timber. That's what I'm looking at, right, so I cut timber.
They go to what area are we talking?
About 10, maybe the whole thing that where the white line is, in cutting over, but it's
About 22 acres of white pine, so we're only talking about half of that, about 10 to 12 acres.
yeah, I think 12 to 14 would be ideal, because then we have the road and if you get less than an acre per house, they'll have a little buffer between them.
So you go ahead and apply, we don't own the land, haven't done DC, we haven't.
So the application doesn't even open up until November.
Alright, we still,
But we need to get loaded on a lot of stuff before that, and then
Yeah.
November to January it closes, and then,
on January one.
yeah, I gotta close for January, can't interrupt you from on any of the stuff in, so it closes in January, and then from the time it gets awarded, say it gets awarded in February, we have 5 months to start,
To start.
to be moving along.
And hoping his understanding of this expedient process and their idea was, we're ready to go right now and start. So,
So. We apply now for the deadline. Or at, hopefully November. We apply then. And none of this comes to fruition, we don't get the property. We're awarded it, they just say, we keep our money, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen.
Yeah,
moves next year likely.
Yeah.
this will probably reoccur, there's no guarantee, but the goals of the state and how many properties they wanna create. And the success that they've shown in the pilot and the draw that they're getting towards this grant already. I believe that there'll be another round of this, or something similar, it's not gonna be the. It's not gonna just upend the whole thing, if we don't get the grant, if we can get there in time. At least we'll be further along, and then our next grant, we can say, well, we tried in the next grant, say we tried for this last time, this time far we got, we're plug and play now, we're ready, so we're. Yeah, of course, but if it doesn't, we don't stop off and just be, well, we have to, now let's walk, so even if this grant falls through, we can still hold the properties for the next round or something like this, or go after.
I think the end goal is probably senior housing.
They want senior housing.
I know they're crying up there.
Yeah.
Senior housing.
They did a study of senior housing. I mean, the moonshot here would be that we, hey, people from the Candia, Houghton, Fillmore area who are all elderly, have these legacy homes that they can't maintain anymore,
Right.
big permanent stuff. We buy their house for a good price, get them in one of these for a good price, longer. And we have another house that fix up and put a young family in when we put it in, put them in.
It'd be great.
And they also want to designate a couple of these houses, set them aside to draw in staff for the college. To have a nice place there people could move into in the community, they could draw people in to work.
They could buy the house, these people are moving out of it, which would be.
I
don't think college can.
Right, they can't own any of the properties themselves, but they can market them, we can set them aside for them, we can, I believe, okay, we can do that it is. That because they're a public servant, or a policeman or a fireman, that you can get around the fair housing. They can't say, well, I'm only gonna sell it to somebody unless it fits their goals.
Make a motion to apply and
Have a motion in a second,
And to start the negotiation and figure out all those details, we still have till January if we decide that it's not working out, but at least you can get going. That makes sense.
lawyers are gonna be involved in that, gonna slow the whole thing down, so Karen's got that motion, do we have a second? I'll second that, okay, now let's open it up for some discussion.
So did Hogan give you any indication of financially what they're willing to kick in besides?
They couldn't say numbers, they didn't have the CFO at the meeting, and so they were very reluctant to talk numbers about their leadership and
In their meeting.
And I specifically asked, Bill Stockton, what can the municipality bring to the table? And he said, well, we're a pro-housing community, that's what we bring to the table. I was like, well, I meant dump trucks. I meant like sweat equity, what would you guys help build the roads, can you do that stuff, and you couldn't get an answer of it.
Well, that was my question was, okay, so now you wanna put 10 homes on basically, private driveway. So is it gonna remain a private driveway?
Well, they did that, your question, the municipality did like informally give us a commitment that they would maintain that.
Yeah. They were on board with that, so part that might be involved, road.
They were willing to be able to maintain that road, that was, I forgot about that. But they don't really have I don't want to build the road and maintain it, they said.
Well, it's like the Wellsville one, and I don't know whether Holton's got it, but Wellsville's got a law that says any new development has to have a established road approved by the town highway superintendent.
Yeah,
So that means Holden or us would have to put the road in. And it would have to be,
And then have to be approved by the municipality to be incorporated.
right,
Yeah, and so they are on board with that, they will, if we can. They're okay with approving stuff, they just don't want to skin in the game.
It's not even gonna be a very long road.
That's long enough.
No,
I mean,
we're only talking about half
it's not a long road, I mean, if it's,
no, well, neither was the road that they put in Wellsville, it was less than a quarter of a mile long, but they still had to be maintained by the town,
right,
but it had to be.
I'm just thinking, they have a dozer, they can clear that out. Drop the cherry, I see a big left there.
That easy gradient is what makes it nice. We don't have to build the road up 17 feet in any area. We can follow the grade, easy gradient. If we, it's a very easy gradient for everything, the drainage, the water, so we don't have to keep everything level. So follow that gradient. You're not, very much building. Really made for an easy area. It's one of the easiest areas when, it's for that easy gradient.
It's just a county candy idea, so they should have the equipment to, build, but also maintain that road.
Yeah, and I think with the public interest in this, that they would advise, but for the town supervisor wasn't willing to make a commitment, I think he didn't be very, it's still, once the document, he's good about.
But he's a deputy, he's not even a supervisor,
He's not supervisor, when he was going in there.
and I'm not even sure he's deputy anymore, but. Anyway, doesn't matter.
So we have a motion in a second. Any other discussion? Vote to approve. Anybody opposed? Motion carried. Another great news.
They got an awful lot of balls in the air here about it.
Yeah, we do. That's a good thing?
Yeah, that's a good thing. I need a full time.
What would you do on this lot, go for all 10 or 5 or?
Yeah.
Well,
We got the whole county.
Yeah, we could, so we could put one or two of them on our, Whitesville site.
Well,
That's taking a lot of money that way,
it's a
but.
minimum, so if you have additional sites you wanna put on, you can say put 13 or
Yeah.
17 or whatever.
Yeah, I have to go back through the application and see how much of a commitment towards the vote. You get to say, oh, we're gonna do 13, I wonder, we're gonna prove that somehow, so I'll figure that out, but.
Well, it'd certainly be nice to put a modular in Whiteville, the $600,000.
Yeah,
I think we have a meeting before the applications due, maybe you guys can do a little
yeah,
research on the size of those lots, the size of these buildings, and see if it's feasible,
And we'll-
potentially for Whiteville.
we'll be meeting with the school, with Hilton on Wednesday, correct?
That's correct.
And that is, hey, are we going up there?
We didn't settle it up with Phyllis, so I need to, we didn't discuss where we're doing.
Yeah, so we'll.
I have a good relationship with her through, leadership, so.
Yeah, so we'll send out,
I would like a board member, and I,
yeah, we'll send out, and then if it's a Zoom, you guys can chime in and be part of the
I think
conversation.
it'd be good at least if I were,
Yeah. That's
The other-
Wednesday.
it depends on when I have. No, Matt, okay.
Yeah, we don't have a time yet, unfortunately. But the one thing I want to say about the Whitesville is if we are thinking of doing that, we need to engage that town relatively quickly, because they'll have to, the downside to being able to do it anywhere in the county is that we still would need each municipality to agree to the zoning, and then they have to agree to building cross mods in their town and sign a resolution, which Canada is already on board with. So if we want to add Whitesville, we need to get that conversation started.
Yeah,
But
it just takes for.
If it's 10 next year, we might not be able to get 10 to get those two.
Right.
So we could get them on this.
Whitesville does not have zoning. So,
We would just take a
and
red.
I would highly expect they don't have anything about manufactured homes.
I know, there's one.
So all you really saying, we don't care.
Okay,
we-
that's good. They just need to
we-
sign the document.
We encourage, you know, new housing in our community. By that, and it'd be good, and you'd need a septic system,
There's gonna need to be one there anyway,
do they have water?
yeah. Like they, that water.
How deep is this lot, remember?
Which lot?
That white lot.
It's an acre.
That's a good
I
size.
think it's still room for a place for septic system.
Oh, yeah, oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I think the septic system is there now, it's a big one that's feeding both houses. That's what I was trying to, our can't giant, one, trying to get to its footprint.
Are there any other empty lots that we own still, or do we get rid of them all?
Well, we got, the 172 East State Village, you're gonna build that, can't build on that without putting it up here.
Well, that one would be up on the hill anyway. You could drop two of those suckers on stilts.
yeah. Other than that, just where the demos are going to happen.
That would be something. Since you got no activity on that lot. That'd be crazy. You'd have to have a concrete block foundations for those, but.
Yeah, retaining wall.
I mean, those old houses were up there on the heavens.
They didn't fall.
They're out of the floodplain. When they're on the heavens.
Does that move in New York, does the grant have any acquisition money in it?
Yes, right, there's acquisition money in it, is there not?
Acquisition money in the crosswalk grant?
Yeah. Was there?
Yes, it.
Yeah. Or,
I'll look it up real quick. I don't recall. Cause they do say that you should have site control, so that I don't think that there would be.
the site control could mean an agreement to purchase too, so,
Yeah, that's true.
You respect your conversation with both men?
yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I think they need to talk to their leadership, see what it's transfer, see look at price transfer. I can tell you just, maybe even. You could maybe be able to gain some of your costs back at the sales, we're not just throwing cash back and forth through the project, we wait, we just all invest money and then at the end, they get paid out their investment, we get paid out our investment.
So if you have to have site control.
It does
does
not
that
cover,
mean- What's that?
Acquisition not covered?
it does not cover acquisition.
If you have to have site control, does that mean that for that 10 lot. Unit that we actually own it, or that we have an agreement to own it?
Either or.
There's like time. For lawyers.
And not actually acting on all the legalities until we knew we got the money.
Right, the rest.
Or at least moving it forward at the right speed.
Yeah. All right, anything else on that? We'll move on to infrastructure.
Okay, let's go a little property for property here, Hill Street, the roof is done, the painting is done, or painting is underway. We've put all the money that we intended into there, come along really well, same with Rochambeau, Thayer Street and Houghton. That,
Real quick,
okay,
what's our end game on those two? Selling them,
we're,
giving them
we just supplemented the roofing, the preservation, we partnered with them, where once the property closed down, we're done, those will come off the agenda, we won't see them again.
Good.
Thayer Street and Houghton, we're gonna be applying for that money to assist them to get those rentals back online, same with 319 Main Street, Bolivar. 38 East Main Street, the church, do we have any updates on that? Is there anything moving along with that? No updates on that. 26 Main Street in Ullman is the new house that we are, said we've got bids in last meeting. We'll talk about those later on. 15 Street in Andover, we got the appraisal back for that. The appraisal came back for cost approach at 135,000 for that. Grover Street, we're working with the architect to do the historical drawings to begin, renovation on that, but he's in the process of drawing up the spec book for that. 172 East Main Street and 178 in Wellsville, we're going to offer that to the town once they get their leadership. Village, sorry, feet underneath them, we were gonna do it last month, but then they had a mayor change, so we thought we'd just let that sleeping dog lie for a little bit. And, 46 Main Street in Friendship, the architect is working on a spec book for that. For back to the mothballing of it, so we're gonna be coming up with a plan for how to button that thing up and what ripping off the back of that building is gonna look like.
We haven't taken ownership yet.
No, we haven't closed on that yet, actually, but it's been under contract for a month, it's just waiting to.
Waiting for me to sign a piece of paper.
Probably. Sign 3 or 4 times, but.
Yeah, like the antique bar, I think that contract for each other.
8 Main Street in Friendship, we got ownership of that through the tax sale. We are going to get a feasibility study on that to see what our options are on that. That might be, it's that crack that goes all the way down it goes all the way to the back of the building. We're ripping the back of the building off next to it. We might behoove us to rip off the back of this and save this building, because the front of the building is actually in really good shape. The legs, the bones, all that is good, but the back of the building, it's the back of the buildings on all that whole street, whatever they did there when they made that parking lot. Dropping all that back enough to ruin it.
Before you keep going,
Yeah.
you skipped over Grover Street.
Oh, yeah, no, I said Grover Street, we are working on the spec drawings.
We owe our bill on there.
Oh, yeah, we own.
We need to pay the water bill or else they're gonna rescind the whole thing.
Yeah, I have that on the agenda.
I don't see it on the.
Well, I just, as part of the next, no business, tax, no problem, I'll be bringing it up, Jim.
Well, we might as well put it for our belongs, just here.
Is that all?
Pay the water bill, sure. I don't remember the exact amount of.
$453.11.
So you should have it. Great, I have that on Grover Street. What happened last week?
I thought that was on Seneca.
No.
No, water bill is Grover Street, and that was, just, it popped up during the transfer of these properties to the tax sale. It was an old water bill that, in my mind, should have been relieved when we took transfer of the property, it should have been part of the sale, or rights when we got it, because we're not exempt from things that were before us. So the county attorney that if it was before us, we're not necessarily, we've had municipalities throw those away all the time. Well, doesn't want
We
to.
just didn't take care of it previously, so.
Yeah, so
When
when it came up to us before, I just said, we're exempt from this, and we didn't pay it, and then it got re-levied. The village, or the county made the village whole, so now the county was tracking it, and when we saw so when we did the sale, it said, oh, you sold it $453. I believe that we were exempt from it, I bought it, they said, no, we gotta pay it.
So we're paying the county?
Yeah, county for levying water bill.
And that has to be done this week.
Yeah, they're not gonna
You
get
know, we can check this week.
That was why it's right here. It's as soon as possible and not next week.
Yeah, I put that on the motion.
Yeah, sure.
Second. Brian, the line.
Any other discussion on that? All in favor?
Okay.
Opposed?
Just as this is warning to us that if any of these come in the future. You know, let's take care of them well ahead of time, so this doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly, so that's the county, so we could have avoided that, we're gonna better intake our properties, make sure that we clear this up with not only the town, village, but make sure there's no levy things that got kicked up to the county.
So our intake checklist now.
But it's better, it's fun.
How old is this bill? I didn't think you could, as a municipality, forward that up to the county tax anymore.
Yeah, I know, it's, the bill is 2020 or something, we took ownership in 22 or 23.
So bills prior to that, something.
Yeah. Yeah, we've never had one on.
What do you got?
One piper?
Well, we have a process coming up, we're gonna be able to talk about being able to, big problems.
Okay, all right. Here for getting that done. So and we
We're
were.
at 8 Main Street.
Wait, did everyone vote? I didn't get a vote.
Yeah,
Yeah,
here.
where are we at? Roger?
So, 18th Street, French, we're going to get a feasibility study on that, and see if we can see what the,
How big is that property?
oh gosh,
Ballpark.
Which property?
But 3 floors, ballpark 2,000 square feet, the 18th Street with the whole floor.
Oh,
All inclusive?
I think it's basement, first floor, and second floor, and then it's roof. So it's 2 stories, it's basement. It's about this, it's the same length as the,
One side of the.
Yeah.
it's a little longer, I can tell you. I give you a check on this.
Main Street, level, square footage would be,
Oh, for the main
I'll
street,
give you
the
it's
commercial.
narrow. Cause if we look out the back,
it'd be half of the 8 main, or 4 or 6. You pull it up, okay?
But right now, no floor, it's square footage is
It's
not
okay,
much.
if we're looking for something very specific.
yeah, from back there,
Yeah.
I would say that you could,
I'll tell you right now. So we need, you want the what?
I'm just curious.
Square footage?
more like if there was a storefront, like a storefront. And then I go all the way back to try to after off that and so.
Right, 350, 5 yards. All the way in the back. 35.
Hmm.
105 feet, so 100 feet approximately long. Yeah, that's the very back, that's the back of the building. You're talking 10 yards.
How wide?
And you do try from. We can. Be like,
Yeah, 33 approximately. Yeah, 30.
so 400 square feet. And, over the 12 Depot Street, that's that little tiny house next to the burnout that we bought. And,
It's us. Oh, you're talking the back on.
just.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's gonna be a little demo and should go into the parking lot next to it. It would be a decent little house if it had, the property only in its footprint, you have the neighbor's property approaches right to the back of the house and to the side of the house. It's just kind of landlocked there and it's not much yard, you could never rebuild anything there, besides maybe a tiny home or a garage or something.
30 by 105 is 3,000,
Yeah, 3,000 square
not
feet.
300.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3,000 square feet, not 300 or 4.
Ground floor.
That's
Yeah.
the full.
So that's the full size of the building. Take off 20 feet, you're gonna be less, so 100 times whatever, say, instead of 30 feet, it's 20 feet. Or instead of 100 feet, you're talking 80 feet, you go either way, we're talking 25.
It'll be quite.
2,400.
What about rebuilding the back 20 feet?
If you kept it all, it'd be 3,000 square feet.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna be doable because of the lay of the land and the cost of materials.
It'll be a short building.
It'll be the same size as the other ones, that one already went half.
Yeah, pretty good.
You're talking about rebuilding it back into the one, aren't you?
We're talking about rebuilding back in a hole, hopefully.
Yeah, like the back wall, but I got one of those here. we have-
You were talking about extending the size. That.
Yeah, possibly, that's. years ago.
Main Street?
Yeah, but its original wall is still not as far as that other building. That building is deeper than any other building on that block.
If we have to stay on the footprint, historic stuff, so would that be the case with going smaller?
That's one for Clint Brown, I think that you can go smaller, you can go bigger, if you go smaller, you can't go smaller on where you see the components from the street. So you can't go there, wants to drop down the floor from the street level, but if we drop it more off the back, we could probably do that.
if we can keep the historic tax credits, if we.
So Main Street is only 2 stories,
Correct.
will that facade goes up higher? Really?
Parasites up there.
Do you know, have you been in the upstairs? Is
Yeah,
it actually laid out with apartments?
yeah.
It is right now laid out as one apart,
One big,
one big one.
Are you broken into offices?
Yeah, cause you go, yeah, sure. You walk, when you walk up to the top of the stairs, there's a hallway and you can go into the apartment and multiple doors. So it's set up for that as it is, but it's gutted out. So it originally looked like it was.
What do you look at it like that for?
I think it was originally 2 apartments or 2 big offices or something. 63 Seneca Street, that is, tax and purchase, it is definitely a demo, it's condemned. That's the one we talked about, we're working with People Inc. to create a development plan for after it. 617 Main Street, we're about to open some demo bids for that today.
You wanna do that now?
We can do it right after the, I got that in. Oh, I think. I should have skipped it for the beginning of the meeting, but antique barn, we haven't closed on the antique barn yet. Yeah.
I'm going with weights.
I figured we had talked about that.
Well, I know, we're talking about selling the property, but now we're talking about putting houses on the property.
Selling the property.
Not a waiver though.
Says property acquired, neighbor son interested in purchasing.
Oh, you went purchasing, we want him to hopefully get financing and help build the house on there. Told him we gotta build a house there. He wanted to, buy the property, demo it and put it to his, add it to his dad's lot. But with the grant money we have, we need lots of utility, so there'll never be anything there. Whitesville needs quality housing on the main street, so we hopefully he works with us. He can get financing.
So, and now you're saying we build, the same house that we're building in Almond, but we wouldn't do that.
We talked about that before, it doesn't seem feasible.
Well, it's not even report.
Oh, yeah, I haven't changed it. Voted against that, but, if we did, remember we talked about last time, we're going to be more scared, it's just too big of a building.
Okay.
Similar, maybe
So-
drive,
Cross that out. All right.
either use these cross mod idea or come up with another way to get something.
Single story, see a real big even. Built like that, cross my.
Yeah.
Antique barn should be, I mean, I signed final.
Yeah, that should be closing anytime. The buyers or the sellers motivated, so that should be moving on. 111 Main Street, we'll be looking at demo bids for that here in a minute, and that'll be. That's hopefully that property is getting built on next summer for Habitat for Humanity. 2 Main Street in Friendship, that's the PC's Diner, the current owner is not sure if they want to leave or if they want to stay, but they're not. We don't want, couldn't be residential, this is something we're gonna take a store that they have there and turn it into residences and take away store frontage from the commercial. This would be, the reason we want this would be to combine it with 4 to 6 Main Street Friendship and kind of entice a developer to come in and say, okay, well, I'm getting all these apartments, I get a couple unfinished apartments, but I have something that's still running, so that's just kind of a carrot put out in front of people to keep that property open, and it's a nice little corner lot that we could help employ. If we roll it into the next project, we can spend money on it regardless of being residential.
Have you spoken with the current tenant?
Yeah, there's been some discussion.
Okay, so are you the one? Somebody, I don't know who, they're in a conversation I had with the others, well, if somebody wants to, they want me to keep it open a couple days a week. Because they don't, okay, all right, just so I know.
Yes.
And I told them that through the current owner and actually that we're not trying to take anybody out, you know, we can work with them when we'll be able to work with them, we don't want to.
Yeah, they're happy with us being the owner.
Yeah, well, that's the only little thing we
She
would.
would still possibly,
Just, and it'd have to be some kind of shutdown time. There'd be shutdown time, if you have to get in there, fix up the stuff, fix up things in there and get it in kind of a merge it with our other projects, so it would be one big project.
But then it's not, wouldn't be landowners, so.
We don't want to be landlord, but then again, it's enticing for somebody else to have somebody tell you there.
Okay.
And there's nothing to say that these people are willing to stay here.
They want to.
Want to, or they're not sure. They've dealt with, this is, Strickland for years now.
I
and,
think, like, for this week, so.
Yeah, so who knows, they're gonna want to deal with us.
Okay.
If not, Jason will start run a restaurant.
Yeah. Free Brett Willie having a meeting there, it's free off meeting spot, that takes care of our whole meeting area. Yeah.
Hey. Yeah, so I think we discussed making the owner an offer for just taxes, pay off any taxes and get it into our inventory.
Is that in our budget somewhere?
We don't know what that looks like. She's willing to move forward on that, but I haven't put it to the lawyer yet. But that would, the taxes are probably either paid or a year out. So I don't know what that number looks like.
I think
That would be an unrestricted purchase. That would be money out of our unrestricted fund.
Which has $4,000 in it on paper.
As well.
$4,000 on paper.
No, on paper, I think we got like,
It says 4,000 on that one sheet.
out of that, just out of that, grant book, yeah, as far as money's spent, there's over 60 in there now.
Something to note, that property is included in the Main Street, technical assistance grant that the town was doing, according to the architecture firm, it's in good condition.
And it's in that historical,
Right,
so good frame, looking at.
so what does that look like for any owner, regardless of the cluster? Does someone own that property in the technical assistance grant, there's money gonna be there to help them with the facade and streetscape, or?
Now, the technical assistance grant was just.
You get us to
feasibility
that,
study.
revenue to going, do you think that the feasibility study,
I think that it's highly likely that the town is considering pursuing New York forward.
okay? And what kind of funds, what kind of money is that, is it a big pot?
If the word is $4.5 million.
No, that's a good,
It's a big
but,
pot.
In the Shippo guy study, that don't hurt.
yeah, it's probably better like, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll really keep it characteristic of the town, especially when you get it. Because a lot of the pictures of that old neighbor, or that old, street portion are that building, they stick out a lot. So do we have a budget to, are we going to offer to purchase that now, or we hold off? Well, I believe that we did have a,
What we did previously, we did all back taxes and paid like this year's. For
Yeah.
Forest, stuff like that.
yes, did that, all taxes, all fees that are normally by the buyer. And then the seller would pay their own fees, legal fees, and cover anything that they were owed, but that,
Can, Kate or Jonathan look and see where they are with the taxes currently and what they are? While we're sitting here.
if you got a free hand to check the.
Can we come back to
taxes
that?
on that too, we'll come back to it.
We're on, Main Street Friendship, the diner.
Well, they're gonna go away.
So
That's
let's
for the-
move on, come back to that. We got 3 people.
And so 4 to 6 Depot Street is the burnout department. We're prepared to offer that person the back tax, the current taxes that are owed, plus $1, and they're willing to accept it. Just having, the board already voted on that. I just haven't made the offer because there's so many other things in front of Peter Degnan. I didn't know.
How much was the taxes on that, you know?
I do not recall off the top of my head, but he will cover the back water bill. I normally wouldn't hit that water bill.
Question for flag.
Now, was there concern with that property with the people that bought the bank? Is there a concern that they may get to him before we do?
No, there's no concern with that. I don't think anybody wants anything to do with it, and I'll be giving he gave me his lawyer information last week, so I'll be giving our lawyer, will be giving his lawyer. He has no intention to. And I mean, is there any news of what's gonna go on with the bank? Yeah, so hopefully, what we're
Can you
gonna
ever
say.
find out what's?
Baby's family or baby family?
Yeah, that doesn't tell anything.
And the hardware store is also in the feasibility study that Ashley just mentioned. And the grant that I'm writing, I put 50,000 to acquire that. That's, so I think we wait and see if we move forward on that. And then go from there.
Okay,
That could be 2 more apartments, plus it has a business in it.
I actually. That's a huge building. I wanna say they said that could even be like 3 apartments. Yeah, it's massive.
The next thing we discussed it before, we haven't formally gave the okay to move forward with, Brown, so if you see the Clinton Brown page right after the property list. Guess this would be further along in the. Yeah, it's not Clinton Brown, sorry, that's where we're at.
well,
But right, that's, I was thinking old business. But we have other stuff you can.
All right, so we're right now at the housing study.
Yeah.
We had 6 proposals. They almost all appear to be different. Couple of them the same company, but they totally rewrote their things. We're having a review committee meeting tomorrow afternoon, and we'll select a consultant hopefully at that point. They're all actually followed the direction this time and made it for the amount that we have for a grant. So that's on the table at least. So we'll have an answer by this meeting next month as to who the consultant was, and we should be well on our way to getting the county through its mill.
Okay, Brownfield,
No update on Brownfield.
It's still chugging. I mean, they finally got approval from EPA on the sites that they had, 3 or 4 sites they had submitted. So, they can now move forward with the phase 1 environmental impacts. Or assessments, I mean. So, they're chugging.
hey, your report,
Went through achievements and all the property stuff we going through. Next, the goal for next month is to get back some, Fellows Hall, which is 46 Main Street and Friendship, and the Grover specs that Brown's working on. Begin the demos, have our piece set up for. Complete that grant application we just mentioned. And we gotta do some financial modeling for all our projects to kind of show where our gaps are, show what money's coming from where. To better get those things planned out for development. I'm gonna be making an offer for that burnout. And we're remedying the 79 Clark situation, which we'll be doing that here later in the meeting, so. Barriers to new growth is, approval from HCR, specifically, things that are tied into federal authorizations like the wetlands. A lot of the EPA and stuff, they're on furlough, so it's slowing things down. We have to get a signed letter from the DEC saying that they sign off that we are not doing development in wetlands. And that we're not going to disturb the long-eared bats or the butterflies that are in our area.
I'm going to pick on the poor bat.
The long-eared bat, we get better. Yeah, so that's it for one.
did it?
Yep.
Old business?
Tax sale properties, we did the only business was on here for is to pay the water. We got,
I signed all the documents one day last week.
and we'll start taking those to include notifying municipalities of clearing up any issues that and, getting them on our services for mowing lawns and snow plowing and get them on property insurance. So hopefully we got some, we'll have probably have a tax or our insurance bill coming up. It's gonna be pretty large with more properties in there. So,
Are we still thinking about going ahead with that 600,000 thing in Alma?
well, that's where we go next.
Can I just note that, I don't know about the other towns, but Wellsville has a rule that you have to shovel your sidewalk. Or you get charged for that.
Yeah.
At 4 times the normal rate.
Yeah, we have snow hill on all of our properties. They do.
So that one, that you just bought,
Which one?
2670.
63 cents.
63.
I'll make them all our snow and stuff will be continued with Snow Hill. So 26 Main Street, Alman, I talked to the real estate agent. There was a little slow getting on the MLS. The goal is to put the link to the specs and the drawings on the MLS, so people can look on there and say, oh, okay, here's the value of this home is $625,000. The sale price is $325,000, a $300 discount if you work with the land bank to buy a brand new house. That's how the listing will work.
It didn't go up.
And I don't, Brian, when did you sign the documents? Okay then, just recently on Friday, so
Didn't go up.
it's either up, it might be up now.
I did it, DocuSign, so she, it was. I don't know if I did it the day I got it or the next day.
Well, we didn't get any answers already because it's only been 0 business days, so.
Yeah.
Now, I know that the ticket price seems huge, and it is, I mean, it's 270 square foot. The reason we're building it this big is because when we tore down that house, we made a gentleman agreement with the village, or with the town of Alman, that we will put something back in life form. When they didn't want us to tear it down and put up a trailer, they wanted us to save it, they wanted to keep the units and the square footage. It makes more financial sense to just put them modular there or something like that, and then if we keep that mentality, then no one's ever gonna build a stick frame house, and it's gonna just continue to be modular housing.
It goes back to when you're gonna build a stick house anyways.
Exactly, no one's gonna do, but if once, put a modular on that street, really increase the value of the homes around it, the way what we will be doing as well.
Well, it certainly does, because the house that was on before was a jumper.
Right, just compared to a modular, compared to like a modular home.
Manufactured homes are just like any other house, they're stick built. You bring them in, you put them on a foundation.
Yeah, I mean,
I live in a modular home, came in 2 baths, they put it on crane, set it on superior walls. It's got 2 by 12 floor joists and it's thinking built for.
yeah, they do build them way better than the East Coast. It's not
Not great.
Trailer, no, and frame everything under $1,000.
I'm just saying, we didn't have that conversation before when we talked about that lot. I just think it's, if everybody agrees 600,000 or 300,000 is okay. We didn't have any open discussion about manufactured homes on that lot before. So that's why I'm bringing it
Yeah, we
up.
started this process before that move in New York thing, before these crosswalks were really popular. If we would put a modular or a manufactured home on there, we're still talking.
You weren't gonna be able to put a manufactured home on there. It had to be built in the same footprint, it's in a floodplain.
Yeah.
It had to be built in the same footprint.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, you're not gonna get modular fit in there, unless you wanna pay 400 or 500,000 for a modular, you custom made to fit in that footprint.
But either way, the modulars that the other land banks are putting in for 300 are selling for 150.
It's the same law percentage.
And that's then they're 1,500-1,600 square feet. So I don't know what the math is on that, it's not that much more per square foot that we're paying.
And we already paid for the drawings.
Yeah.
Down the road.
So my memory said that we had 400,000 allocated in grant to pay for this.
We have. No, 600, but we moved money around to be able to spend, to be able to build it. We have,
In grant,
the grant right now, look at that one handout I did, you look at the 2.2, then we have 794,000 left to spend. And, I'm sorry, minus the, okay, so we have like about 694 left to spend, and that would be 625 for the town, 40 for Grover, 25 for 46
so,
with this last.
so it's not going to cost anything out of our general fund theoretically? Or is it?
Then not, besides what we've already spent on our general fund, remember we've now this out, we've got study from the top.
Right, but anything from here on is covered in the funds that we already have.
That we have correctly, we have to spend.
And for anything we sell for goes into our general fund.
Correct.
And there's also part of that money we have to spend in order to continue the grant and get the next year. We have to have 75% allocated, we have $600,000.
So as far as, and I'm just thinking about, we're not in the hole ourselves.
Correct.
But yeah.
And is
Yeah.
the state okay with us spending $30,000 to build a house?
Yeah, I don't think there's, they don't.
Do we know that?
Well,
Are they okay?
yeah, they're, I mean, they're gonna say, no,
It's already been allocated.
Yeah,
I know, I'm just,
In our initiative, our last initiative budget, milk this out.
I just don't wanna,
they're aware of the cost.
start this process and then they come back and say,
Right.
oh, by the way, you were only approved for 400.
No.
And I gotta come up with 200.
No, it won't be that, it's, but so if we're spending all grant money to build these places, so, and then selling them, we get it back in 100, so we build it for 625, sell it for 3, that's 300,000 we made off it. We do for 300 and sell it for 150, there's only 150 that we're spending on it, so I'm just, there's that balance, but.
Well, that makes it more palatable to me than it was last month, just because last month it was 400 that we had allocated.
Yeah, I moved more money around, and took it out of, I just moved it around the other projects, to put the other projects in this next grant.
I think it's ridiculous how much a house costs today, but that's just because I'm old school, I guess.
Towards Dar's comments, I think in the future, I think we need to give modulars a better look before we
Yes,
go towards spending 6.25.
I agree.
And I think 300,000 is gonna be a tough sell. Not there, but, well, because when you're looking at homes to buy, modulars fall into the stick built side of things. They don't take a decreased value because they're modular. They fall on the other side of the manufactured home, field. And spending 600 when we could spend 370 or 350. Going forward, I think we need to.
Yeah, I look at, my son bought a manufactured home, 2-story. 2,100 square feet. For 120,000, this was 10 years ago. It just sold for 193. So, and this is in sticks, I mean, there's just no community service, water, sewer, this is all out in the movies. And I just looked at the way that I helped build the foundation and they set the modules, and I looked at that house when they put it in. And I'm telling you, more rugged than an individual contractor would have put into a house. Because when they brought in the second floor, the center beams were just like the first floor. There were 4 2x12s side by side, so you actually had a double beam, main beam. I mean, it was Now, the electric on it was a little bit different, but it was made in Pennsylvania, they built the Pennsylvania electric code, but anyways. That's why I'm sorry, I'm a pre-manufactured guy, that's all there is to it, I see.
Well, we still go, they had to be on that footprint. Yeah, so.
Going forward, going forward, we have got to look at those.
I think everybody agrees on that, but to move on with this, and we need to spend this money, so. Do we have a budget we have to open for this?
We opened it and we put them on the back burner. They're gonna expire if we don't go for that. That would,
Let me just see if we officially table that, because if we did, then we'd have to. Take it out.
While he's looking that up, she found, the taxes on Ford Depot,
3252.
yeah, 3,200.
yeah, I'll set it done, it'll be well under, not well, I guess, but, with the legal fees, charge title, transfer, all that stuff, should be under 10. Actually, there.
And the 2 Main Street, the diner, was back to and what is due for County.
Sorry, I didn't hear that number. I
Oh,
was,
my God.
Sorry, the Ford Depot is 3252.78.
one more time.
3252.78.
That's taxes.
Yes.
Okay.
And then 2 Main Street, the diner. What's back due and what is now due for County is 8080.16.
So they are bad taxes for doing that.
The back are schools.
Last year's school.
No, it's 2.1. And then should have been school back in 2.1.
Look at that question, we don't.
It is, only current, county tax. Yeah.
All right. We did not officially table that. We officially requested the realtor to do what we should start. So,
And that has been,
so we don't have to take it out of the table. We can just make a resolution. I make a resolution. We move forward with the low bid. Don't remember we're gonna run this.
We would.
don't know either.
We would,
That's what accessibility.
Pending. We confirm. Saying that they have a problem with that, meeting. Moving those funds over to that. They've got a problem. We're back to square.
Where's Fleetwood accessibility data?
Rochester. They actually, they heard about the project through the architect who did the drawings, they worked with them. I've talked with the gentleman a couple of times on the phone, very capable, willing to work as hard as he can to come under budget.
yeah, I think our architects work with them as well.
Yeah, exactly, the architect and, he's invested in this, he's already, got some hours of work for free. He's like, you gave me out, but I really want to see this thing across the finish line, so he was taken back when he came and visited. He's like, I just love what you guys are doing, and what you're going to put out there, I'm gonna help you guys out. So he's on board to watch the thing right through fruition.
Yeah, more, right? Okay.
Sherry, should we back the motion sorry, I know what I'm saying.
Approve the construction at 26 Main Street, Elma, New York. For the low bid by Fleetwood Accessibility pending HCR approval of funds.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Anybody opposed? Let's build a house in Fulton first.
Yeah.
I was just as a side note, say, if we have another sign that we could put up there, we should.
Yeah, we're working on that.
Somebody kick that?
They took
There was a sign on the website, somebody put it.
Yeah, exactly, damn it.
the post out, and then they beat the sign with it.
Yeah, I ordered a big sign, but, gotta get police back on.
All right, right there, storage district, that's the next thing in your packet.
Yeah, that's the next round. So this would be step 2, this is part 2, we did there's 3 parts. We did part one, this would be part two to get the district drafted and ensure that we will be able to get tax credits on the spending we're doing. And then the next part will be, what we said the county would, we'd have to leave up to the county, which would be actually
County,
putting it over to
we already, I'm pretty sure.
part one, we did, this would be.
No, main approved part two.
It wasn't in the minutes, so I was
It isn't?
I would have scoured the
Man,
minutes.
I thought we did that.
So did I, didn't see it in the minutes, so I think I better go back out.
Did we have the drawing for the district? You did that, sure. Was this done after that visit?
Correct, this is an element, so I guess it's knowledge and drawing. Before the drawing did not have school field in there.
That's what it was.
Does that include the, Wellman House?
Which is the one now?
Well, the Wellman House itself is already on the historic
Oh, that's good.
register.
It looks like that, what that is.
What is the one now?
Is that the police station?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
It's got a big rock out front with a historic.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is included in there. Okay, that would make sense.
Oh, that's that little kick out on West Main.
Yeah.
Yep, that would be it.
Yeah, that's a better. That previous district was too low. Me,
Would you want the antique barn included?
I think they addressed that, is it not in there? Cause they, no, it's cause they did address that. No, I think that's that little,
Right here.
oh, no, I think that's a lot right here.
Yeah, I think so.
so I would, one of the here, they approved that.
I think there's sort of back here, so it's brand new, eventually. I think that, Marcus had a different, this is, Marcus had a different, way of characterizing it. I don't know if they are in the district or they have it, I know they have their own. That's a good point, should we ask why the barn isn't on here?
Well, we were just discussing, probably the destination is to come down after all our projects are completed.
Maybe not. Who knows?
I didn't think so. We're gonna park people.
Well, that's why we're gonna build
I got
across the street.
Oh, we had the lot down,
Across the street, and have it on over there.
down around the next street, but it's a little high. Get to it.
The friendship people over at the students were talking about cutting a hole outside and making it a grandstand and having that color paper that. That's a lot.
Make it actually put it around down.
Now, I'm gonna play the devil's advocate for a moment, because even if, let's say, the burned out building becomes parking. The question has to be, is that enough parking for buildings on Main Street? Because the parking that's next to the pharmacy could actually become a new building.
Really?
Yeah, the town
I
doesn't,
thought the town was there.
no, the owner of the pharmacy owns that.
Oh,
So, I mean, he allows that to be public parking, but
oh, that's right.
let's be honest, succession planning is underway for him. Retirement is on the horizon. If he looks to sell, that parking lot may not always be public parking, so I'm just throwing that out there. You wanna make sure you have adequate parking for Main Street.
Go across the street, the antique park.
I mean, I see that better.
Included there.
But this is a lot, you gotta remember too, this is part of this property too,
Yeah.
right? And, this house right here,
No, next to it is the lot.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
this
that,
lot right here,
That building's not there anymore.
this lot
Yeah.
is part of.
Stone wall there.
Yeah, there's a stone wall that sits like right here.
So it's not included in there.
So this is possible, this is parking possible too, which is in time we were talking about putting the road up and through this way, that gradient.
Yeah,
That will allow parking and access through here as well. But again,
Those people, those houses down there are gonna be happy with this driveway.
it's just an empty lot right
The
now.
house back there.
Yeah, there's no house there.
Remember, if you go up in there, you can see that stone wall.
See if I can do this. I guess,
Never mind, don't worry about it.
So the question that remains, do we wanna have it added to Sterling District, or if we're thinking it's gonna stay forever, does it matter if it's in the historic district, because There's really, what are you gonna develop it?
Well, and here's another thing too, you gotta remember that we can add and subtract to the historic districts, especially since they're abutted.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest problems with adding,
Yeah, continuous.
that is to be contiguous, and it's right behind everything and right next to it. So
Yeah.
if it was to be added, or somebody first property, if somebody wanted to buy it, it's very possible.
Yeah, that's,
I want a blacksmith back there, so.
That would be awesome. A lot of thinking going on.
So he didn't find the resolution saying that we had already approved this, which I feel like we did, but
I thought we, I think we approved them to come show up and do a study, a walk around, but yeah.
I thought they did part one and we approved part two, but if we didn't approve part two,
Yeah.
maybe we should.
I think part two was contingent on people showing up and stating whether or not that was a viable opportunity to be able to do the historical district. Part two would then be,
Yeah, what was their result? We didn't even hear that, did we?
showing up for the historical district, they loved it.
They're really got more than probably that too.
Yeah.
yeah, we got it, very excited.
We haven't seen one like that in a while, he's really excited.
And he was, you got the Family Dollar in the middle of it all, and he says, you just draw a big X through it. But it has to be part of the district, not contributing. It's this how this is contributing, that's contributing, that is not contributing, the school's contributing, and then you go across the street to the haunted house there, the purple thing, the library contributes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in there, and then there's that. Well, that's contributing, how about purple here? Yeah, well, you bought that. So then you got the credit union, right?
No, right, the movie theater was not, they didn't put too much on that.
It doesn't look.
Right, it's between the historical society and Dollar General, that last little road that they.
Didn't know that was a movie theater.
Yeah, he said it
Right
right
there,
there.
it's not thing, or that.
It's not contributing?
No, it's not.
That surprised me because it wouldn't, doesn't look like a container.
Which one? The one at the end, we don't have.
That is, well.
The one that's not.
Yeah, that's, that is,
I think the historic side should be both of them.
Yeah, they do.
But that, he said that is not contributed.
Because of the siding and stuff on the side.
But you don't know what's hiding behind that shit.
Exactly.
So,
and he's not gonna pull anything off, but so we're willing, we wanna go up there, and tell them, hey, pull your side down so we can see it. And like, very well be contributing. Same thing, $10 if they want to redo their facade, they could be contributing too, but it's a matter of.
well, I think that was probably somebody just slapped those stones or
I would
whatever.
imagine as well.
Like for the Shake and Miles building, that building was, you can actually see pieces, where they put a facade over, but then they left a little, and it was contributing.
So the bank, from the front, they said the bank doesn't really contribute, then we were on the corner, goes, oh, take a picture from this angle and it'll work. So the side of the bank, and so if we take a picture from this side, it is, but.
Where's that van?
That's before the building still there too. Then we bought that house next to it there.
Yeah.
That one. And as you go around,
That's so cute.
you go around the corner.
Maybe we can all push it over.
The house comes with appliances too.
Oh, they're still in there.
Yeah, there's
Deal.
all over the place inside.
No, not that, there's that part of it. Go back down Main Street.
The corner right there.
They did a great job, Alfred students with the town hall. They did a real good job. Keep going to your right.
There you go.
There, and down the street. So that's all the bingo hall obviously is contributing, but those two buildings are. And then there's out back, yeah, that's contributing to it. So, so then that's where it ends on that side of the street. And then you go
Well, across the street, that's where we're putting the craft brewery, right back there in that gas station.
Yeah. Go across the street,
Oh,
there's the Shake 'em Out building that's contributing. Or that, or is it that one, one with right, yeah, that's the Shake 'em Out.
all right. You wanna pass a resolution to cover our butts?
Yeah, we should accept the phase two. Part two of the. National. National Registry or District. I'll make that motion. That was an E.
Oh.
With an I. We have a second. I'll second. Dar, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried, now. The bad news.
Do you need to, do you need to approve paying the deposit for the contract?
Oh, yeah, also to pay the contract, otherwise we're gonna kick a month out, so. It's a 10%, so the motion should be to accept the designation and pay the 10% down to start the order.
Let's do the second.
I thought there was, wouldn't that just be part of this thing? We just approved it. Hold on.
Because what's been happening is, well, the board's been approving something, so say from $37,000 for the contract, then the first invoice comes in, and I gotta wait a month to pay the invoice, and see if the board also.
Well, it's in the contract that says we have to pay.
I don't know why, just to be clear, they should understand that we're on a 30.
No, they do. Okay, but then.
So why write 15 days in?
We talked about.
Yeah. Yeah, it's in their AIA. Because they use it. They got it.
So by approving phase, the part two, it's in there that we're gonna, what we gotta pay, do we need another?
That's up to you guys, because like I said, if you want me to be able to approve every time they do a progress check, I can say, okay, they did that work and I'm okay to approve it, or do you guys want?
You know, this is a little vague, it's a 15 to 18, we should probably just approve the invoices if they come in, if they're okay with it. So let's, yeah, let's.
That's kind of hard for me to keep track of whether I sign the check or whether I
Yeah,
don't.
I think it's better to have the invoice, so let's move on. So,
Do the pay deposit immediately?
Yes. That's your thing.
Thing.
what was the deposit, so that's 15,000? Yeah, okay. So we need a motion to pay the deposit of $1,500 to Clinton Brown for the part two registry work.
I'll make that motion, Jason.
Second,
Brian would want.
Brian, why, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Cultural Center, we kind of covered that, right?
Yeah, that's no.
Historic partnership with vet and pre-qualified home buyers, what's that?
Can work with, we're gonna work with Andover Historic to have them vet people for, home buying and stuff like that. I thought I would have an agreement in place by the meeting, I had one other stuff tomorrow, so that's what this.
Now, man, studying on fire. So, who wants to do it?
I'll go, so this guy, he had the
We all
problem,
been involved.
we had a problem with the. There was some leaky water coming in, when we looked at these pictures, this is the work that was done by.
Yeah, I can bring this to the location.
So that is, this is the work that you guys complained about, you had water coming in. He decided he wanted monetary compensation and there was rain coming and the guy was very adamant about getting something done. John went over and repatched the work that you're looking at in the packet. And John got a report about it up here.
So. Out of just trying to find, spending, I don't know how many different weeks trying to get a contractor to show up and give us a bid. This isn't a difficult project. It wasn't a difficult fix. The problem was when it was applied, done initially, it was done post foundation. They were not put in, penetrations were not put in during the pour of the wall. So they had to chisel through, then push through lines. Then they had to pack around them. Ideal situation is to bore them into the wall and seals when you pour it. Trying to get something to show up in one of these was near impossible. I called at least 8 different contractors with 4 of them getting back to me saying, yeah, I'll call you back. Well, spent weeks doing this. So Anthony assumed we were just neglecting him and trying to ease our way out of it. When I first showed up there and looked at this and inspected the property, I said, why don't I do it myself? It's an hour job. And I think a lot of contractors realized they didn't want to get into it, ceiling the foundation, whatever. I don't really know. But it wasn't difficult. But getting them to show up was, even just for a quote, was near impossible.
And my apprehension of fixing it from the beginning was that anytime he needs, he could be told me about. The gentleman over patched it up, and the gentleman would still like a monetary compensation of $2,900, and then he'll never bring it up again. Would he sign off there? So in the package, there's an agreement that drafted with him.
Got a hold of my email. I told him I would bring this to the board for vote, not knowing that Jonathan had passed it the day before, because I was on a vacuum. And then I said, oh, well, I see he's fixed the problem, so, you know, I'm glad now we're, everything's good. And he said, well, I'll never be able to get my money out of the house when I go to sell because of the water stain. And
There's a lot of things that are said that are not true, in inspecting the property, the mold, the terrible water. It's been the driest summer on record, and I think you got water in the spring. And that's the last time you got water.
There's a statement of agreement in the packet. And the statement of agreement has the terms of the agreement are that is a one-time contribution for the purposes stated above. Basement.
this was his original. This can go away if you pay me 2% of the purchase price for the home.
Right.
And then that was before,
That was prior to me going to fix.
fixing it.
And now maybe so this we talk about it whenever keeps happening, that have to go back in there. He wants to, hopefully with this $2,900, he can dig a sump pump or something like that, and he wants to go further than what we did. This would, it'll bear no responsibilities or liabilities for quality workmanship from the repairs. We make no warranties or guarantees expressed or implied. We expect the repairs and conditions that may result from this. All repairs will be performed at the property owner's listed above under his sole discretion and responsibility of the property owner.
This should come out of general.
79.5, and when we go for that,
This is, we should come out of general funds.
this would have to come out of general fund.
Where's the truth? Seems like a pretty random,
He said 2% of his purchase price.
And it was actually $29.60, he took $60 off for the work that we already performed.
$60.
$1,000 and done.
I like that number better, but I don't like any number, I think it's ridiculous, you buy a house, you're stuck with it.
Yeah.
And do you watch the money hit?
What is it, as is, where is?
It is, but there's New York State has an implied warranty that implies that the craftsmanship and the materials will be covered outside of the contractor's or manufacturer's warranty. Those type of warranties do have, due diligence that has to be performed in the tracking of costs, tracking of, pictures and all that stuff we don't done. It will end up costing us this much to fight it. Because I don't think he's gonna sell it for anything less than money, knowing he's a pretty, and determined.
Yeah,
I would keep my opinion, so.
And so how long does that so-called state warranty?
5 years or.
And we built the house and
It's just, we're falling just up of the end of that, so he's not here. And he contacted Elton Carroll County, and she did reach out and said that, I mean, said that there is such a thing, but I'm not sure how it, carry out or how the actual process works, but
He's kind of fixing our attorney, who would know him. Basically, he's not hired by him, you know, and it's just gone on and on and on.
My God, Josh was someone else in this mother.
You know,
I hate that,
the last thing I wanna do is go back and counter offer. I think we either say, go away, or just pay it and then be done with it, but I don't think coming back with a,
What's with these pictures?
Are they okay?
This one says.
Those are not that report, that's the pre-report before I did.
that's from the home inspector.
Yeah, it's okay.
So that's
Who's home inspector?
the mortgage, the bank's home inspector there. From when the property was sold to him.
Well, you did a marvelous job fixing it.
Well, it's hydraulic cement, so he's gonna need an excavator to get it out of there.
So anyway,
We're able to dig through the hole all the way to the. And the frequency be space in there to.
Yeah, there's quite a, get back to the top picture, there's quite a bit of a void in between there, so when I knocked this stuff out of there, it was very much so hollow, like they don't. If you can see on these pictures, you can see the hand marks, that finger swipes here, so somebody had taken, I'm guessing, which would be, mortar, rather than hydraulic water stop sealing concrete cement, and just pass it in there. Now, underneath the pipe in here, there was quarter to a half inch gap sag under the pipe. So they put it in wet, probably walked away, the pipe a little bit, and dropped that mortar. Mortar's gonna take it
Probably should have gone.
over 24 hours to cure in a cool, dark, damp area. So my guess is they put it in, slapped it in with pipe when they did it, and then
That
set
was
it.
our original contractor went in and fixed it, because I remember pointing out to
Correct.
Reeves that it was leaking.
Correct, it's posted
And
on.
typical of, as far as I'm concerned, why it's not in construction business anymore. You just shit.
Don't disagree,
Oh,
and
we're still live.
Yeah.
we wanna go to executive session.
You said everything we should have said.
And
How do you feel about your repair?
I feel good about it. I took, so that should bring us back to the top too. So in this, I took
If
the,
you're gonna go into more depth, then I thought we were done, so.
no, it's real simple. Glue, water, and, hydraulic water stuff, was really is. Sets up in 5 minutes, packs in as far as you could. And then parts are nice and tight around the pipe. They both have glue in it, the cement and tappiness inside and around the pipe and around all the contact spots inside. So it's in there. I use a whole bucket of hydraulics. But it's tight, not gonna leak. If it leaks, it's gonna be from the outside somehow, but I don't have an excavator to dig out front, so.
So we need to pay this guy $2,900, so we don't have to hear from him ever again, is the theory.
Or what, if we don't pay, what happens?
Then he sues us for what? I don't
For
know.
what, it's been repaired,
I don't know what.
at no cost to him, been repaired.
I don't think he's got a leg to stand on. I just. If he's asking for $500, and some I might be a little more inclined, but I think he's just trying to. Gouge just a little bit here. We've done our.
You also mentioned pain and suffering and frustration for having to deal with this for so
I have a
long.
motion to go into executive session.
Anyone second that?
Who
I'll second.
makes the motion?
Right.
Right?
No, I said I'm asking.
Oh, I made it.
I'll make the motion. Ed? Second. Sorry, I'll second.
Darwin, Ed,
Hold on.
11:04.
Pause.
But,
What time is it?
11:04.
Okay, hold on. Very pause. Stop recording. And I was,
Leave them, I don't think we're going to take that on.
all things.
We are,
Not yet.
This whole paper, we wait outside of having conveyed in.
Yeah, enough of us.
No, we just have to go smaller rounds. See you guys later.
See you right back on the right.
Yeah.
See you, right.
Fine, sure.
Hold it over.
Stop last, that was right there.